And here's Irene.
Indigenous woman from the Americas and the Pacific that's also East Asian. I have black hair, glasses, and I'm wearing a vintage Marc Jacobs pattern dress. I'm going to start off by reading a protest poem titled How to Win Friends and Influence People as a Pretendian. 1. Start the swindle off strong. Produce a thesis about cultural appropriation. Use outrage against headdresses being worn at outdoor concerts and/or as Halloween costumes as the topic. Then speak out on anything indigenous. Speak out on how to solve the problem of oil and gas extraction on tribal lands. Speak out on covert abusers in our communities. Speak out on who is sexually attractive. Use these as jumping off points on why Native people should never ever vote in any elections. Jumping ahead to 8. Focus instead on becoming so powerful in the white world that everyone becomes afraid of you. Stage a protest at the new workplace of someone who got a position where you did not. Claim it was the organization that needed to be decolonized instead of admitting how your feelings got hurt because your ego got checked. 9, find a group of pan-Indigenous people who like to come together informally, become their queen bee, king of the hill, lord of the flies, by any means necessary. This will be another strong base for your claims of indigeneity. Apply anyone willing to listen to you with booze and with drugs before sharing your deepest, nastiest Native stereotypes as important parts of your story. They will pity you for being so deeply colonized and try to nurture you into becoming confident and successful. Be inconsistent with your affections afterwards. Ignore them, get mean, then exploitative, become apologetic, then return back to neediness. After a few of these cycles, boom, you got them back on the hook, trauma bonded for life. I'm gonna stop there and switch gears and read a piece about one of my mentors, Fei Chang, who made me feel welcome as I was trying to reconnect with my Chinese heritage. After a certain point, she stopped publishing her poetry, and so a lot of people assume she died. This piece answers some of that. And so it's titled LG for Fei Chang, January 28, 1952 to October 20th, 2017, year of the water dragon to year of the fire rooster. This piece is dedicated to all of the young people and adults we work together with at the Chinese American Planning Council Project Reach division. When our mothers disowned us after we came out as lesbian, as gay, as transgender, when we became too difficult to deal with, Faye became our mother. When we were hungry, Faye bought our meals. When we couldn't afford school, Faye paid our tuition. When we were discouraged at Yale, Faye reassured us, then discussed why she turned down a teaching position there. With no money was budgeted to work alongside her, she split her salary with us. When we couldn't travel, Faye had a stash of Metro cards available. When we visited Asia decades after our mothers abandoned us, Faye accompanied us. She let strangers believe she was our mother, despite the dirty look she got while traveling with half-Black men. When we were too shy to talk to anyone, Faye introduced us to someone who still mentors us. When we lost church, Faye created the missing posters. He was returned by a bodega owner who'd find someone else to kill the mice in his basement. When we were arrested, Faye visited us in Rikers. She paid our lawyers' fees. When we thought we would lose our family home, Faye told us how to save it. She had done the same thing at our age. When creditors demanded her family home as payment for her mother's cancer treatments, Faye wrote a letter that stopped them. When we were trying to get our voices back after years of numbness, Faye gave us desks at her office so we could begin writing. She didn't need one because she knew how to write whole essays and poems in her head. She learned how to do this as a teenager while taking care of her parents and siblings while going to college and running the basement workshop in Manhattan, Chinatown. She got some of the best writing done in her head while riding the bus. When we were angry at someone who laughed at us after we were sexually assaulted, Faye shared how that person was raped repeatedly by an uncle. The experience left him mute for years. When we needed an abortion, Faye took us to Bellevue. We stayed all day because that is the only place to get one for free in New York City. When we couldn't stop crying, Faye held us until it was time to go home. When we were hospitalized, Faye was there. She stayed all night, she stayed all week, she stayed all month. She stayed longer than she should have. When we feared hearing what doctors would tell us about our test results, Faye reminded us that healing always remains a possibility and that doctors are wrong sometimes. She was given 6 months to live, but stuck around for an additional 30 years. When our baby died, Faye told me Beatrice would eventually return. She hasn't arrived yet. We're too late, and now Faye is gone. When we were dying, Faye was there, and we felt peace. When we died, Faye painted our portraits. Some were kept by our families, a few got exhibited at galleries, and the rest were brought to protest against police brutality. When strangers took our pictures home, Faye would make more for the next protest. When protesters took home the banners Faye also designed, she'd make more of those too, even though she was exhausted. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations.